Greetings everybody, my name is Alex and today we're gonna talk about some shit. It's now August 11th, around 2 p.m. and I'm gonna do a little vlog gameplay type of a thing. I'm trying out all different types of stuff, as you have seen now these past weeks. And I'm gonna record this before heading out to Louise's place and spending the weekend there. She's gonna force me to bathe in the ocean, and I don't want to, but I have this silly tradition that I have bathed in the ocean at least once every year of my entire life, and I haven't done it this year, and now it's just getting colder and colder, so I just have to do it this weekend, so yippee. And we're derailing right away. Nice. So the topic of this video is actually about Nintendo and the Switch. So I have lots of different thoughts about it. I've played with it, I've seen it, read about it, and I've had a hard time to form a real opinion, so I'm all over the place, but I'm just gonna throw out there what I'm thinking. So the presentation, let's start from the beginning. The presentation of the Nintendo Switch was 1,000 times better than the Wii U. No doubt, I can almost say that objectively, because a lot of people, including myself, didn't even know that the Wii U was coming out or that it was its own standalone console. So I was surprised and kind of, disappointed in a way with the Wii U. Although later on, I got it and I love it so much. But the Nintendo Switch, on the other hand, did a fantastic job with the trailers, how they presented it. Like with now in E3, when Reggie, like the president for Nintendo in the USA, when their panel started, the first thing he said was, "The game is fun. And if it's not fun, then why bother?" It's like he goes straight into what games really are about. It's about gameplay and having fun. It's not about graphics or reaching types of milestones in terms of, the scale of the world or graphic compatibilities. It's just Nintendo knows that it's all about the gaming and not so much about the graphics, and that can be both good and bad, in my opinion. And we're gonna talk about that some more. But yes, me and my brother, we made a vlog about this, or an unboxing video, where on the March of 3rd, when the Switch came out and Breath of the Wild, we got the Pro Controller, everything, and I filmed it with my phone, and I put it up on my on this channel actually, so you can go and check it out. I will probably post a link in the description. So we played it day one, and I spent like 1 week, vacation at my brother's place, and we played Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch so much, and it's great. We use it mainly as a, TV console, even though it is a hybrid. So, as a TV console, it hasn't really changed much. If we think of it as just a TV console, it's up there with the Wii U. It's a little slightly better than a Wii U, but it's not much better. Like, take the difference between Nintendo 64 and GameCube. It's a huge difference. And then between GameCube and Wii, there wasn't a huge difference. They both were in 480 pixels in height. So there wasn't a big difference there, but the difference now was that with Wii, was that it's motion control. So they focused on that more than the graphics and the hardware, keeping it kind of cheap. And the Wii was a massive success. And then the Wii U came out, and that was the first big resolution difference ever for Nintendo. They went from 480p to 1080p, although not every single game, could support it. But still, that's a huge leap, and they went into HDMI finally, and 1080p, HD, 60 FPS, it's just, wow, really good shit. But it was still a Wii, it's still like that generation in some way, and it could also play Wii games with the motion controls and everything. So, and then the difference between Wii U and Switch in terms of graphics, no difference really. They're both HDMI, they both output 1080p, although like before, not all the time. So yeah, shit, I lost my train of thought. The difference wasn't so huge, but now the difference was it's handheld, it's a hybrid. And if we think about the Switch as a handheld, it's insanely good. It's the best handheld powered console on Earth right now. Unless you count these super expensive mobiles or like laptops, which gaming laptops. If we like don't count them, if we just count consoles, handheld consoles, the traditionals, this is the best one ever, and it is almost perfect. The only thing I can think about that I don't like so much is that the battery life isn't so great. It lasts about 3 hours at max, maybe, depending on how you have the brightness and if you have Wi-Fi and all that types of shit. But it doesn't have a very long battery life compared to like the 3DS. It lasts forever. I mean, kind of. It lasts a long time. And that's a 240p. And the Switch is 720p. Like full 3D graphics. And the battery doesn't last very long. But the console is very, small. Like when we picked it up the first time, we were like, holy shit, it's very small. The controllers, the Joy-Cons, kind of small. I think a lot of people felt that. It's a lot smaller than you thought when you saw it in the trailers, for some reason. So, considering its size, the battery life is still good. And from what I've heard, like, the thing that takes up the most space inside the Switch is actually the battery. Although I might be wrong, but I think that's the case. And if you have, like, external battery chargers, it can last up, forever if you just keep on having them, but you're not what is it, supposed to have that. You're supposed to have this as a console that you have like at your TV and it's charging while you play on the TV, and then when you need to go you just pick it up and you use that charged battery to play outside or on the bus or something. So the battery life isn't very long, and it's okay, I guess. Now, some other things about the Nintendo Switch. I love the menus. Compared to Wii U, it is a lot more simple. Wii U had like this Plaza and 3D World menu, and you used the gamepad to click on the menu. So it was nifty and nice, but it was a little bit too slow, like going to the settings, and it had too much loading in my opinion. And the Switch was much better with that. It's very quick, simplistic. I love the sound effects. It's really nice. It's different, it's nice, but I think both the Wii U and the Switch have their pros and cons. But overall, I think I like the Switch menu a bit more. So, let's talk about the games for the Switch. Now, it released with Breath of the Wild being the top AAA title, full price, everything. And it is more or less a masterpiece of a video game, even though a lot of games have been open world RPG and whatever. But Breath of the Wild is a really good game, in my opinion. Really, really good. So different from the other Zelda games, and I love that they took that risk or turn and not sticking with how Skyward Sword was, like a hallway, very linear. So I'm glad they went to you can do whatever you want. When they announced that you can go to the final boss like right away, it blew my mind and I got so excited because I grew up with the Zelda games and you could never do that because you had this red line that you had to follow. You can't just go to the final boss because you haven't triggered the events or you don't have the medallions or whatever. But now it's an open world, a true open world, and you can go to the final boss right away and there's nothing really stopping you in terms of the game mechanics. So it's great. But other than Breath of the Wild, you can't just have a new console with one good game. You have to have at least some more, right? Well, the other big titles they have is like Mario Kart, and that didn't come out with the Switch. These are titles that come out later. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just a Wii U title, but remade in a little. It's just a deluxe version with all the DLCs and some new items and a new battle mode. But it's still, in my eyes, a Wii U game. So I don't really see it as a new Switch game. It isn't. It's just a re-release with new stuff. Same goes for Pokken Tournament, which is a Wii U title, and here it is with more characters and whatever. So it's pretty cool, whatever. And they might do one with Smash, like yeah, Smash Wii U. Why shouldn't they? It would just work perfectly. Have all the DLCs and everything, and maybe Mario Maker as well. Would be so cool to like take it to friend's place and share levels locally, or maybe play together on the same stage, like 2-player. That would be cool. Maybe they will do that. And now we're talking so much about Wii U games, right? There haven't been many Switch exclusives such as Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey. I don't see many AAA titles, these big Nintendo titles. I mean, they have announced like Metro Prime 4, it's just insane. And now Mario Odyssey is looking to be a fantastic masterpiece. And now they have Splatoon 2, which is like, for me, half a Wii U game, half Switch. It's still Splatoon, it plays the same, it looks kind of the same. So it's not a new Switch exclusive, right? In my opinion, like 50%. So I really hope they come out with a lot more, because the Wii U had a lot of great games with Mario 2D and 3D World, and Nintendo Land, Yoshi's Woolly World, and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So many good, like, big Nintendo titles. Pikmin 3. And I think Pikmin 4 is gonna come out on the Switch, maybe, I don't know. But you see, I need and I want more Switch exclusives, like new big titles, not just re-releases. And speaking about re-releases, I just need to drink, wait a minute. Okay, so, speaking of re-releases or backwards compatibility, Nintendo has, since the Wii, had this that you can play the previous generation on it. On the Wii, you could play GameCube, which was amazing. Like Wii and GameCube in the same console, and you can also use the component cables, without any hassle. And it's wonderful. I love it. And then when the Wii U came out, you can play Wii games on it. Kind of obviously, right? But still, they continued that you can play the previous console with it. And once again, it's great. Now you can play Wii games using HDMI. You couldn't do that with Wii. It only had component and composite, which are okay. But now HDMI is better. And I was kind of disappointed with the Switch not being backwards compatible whatsoever, because now it uses cartridge and it's a hybrid, so it makes more sense because it's not just a home console anymore. But still, since the game has so many Wii U games in my mind, I just hope they would in some way make you able to play your Wii U games on the Switch. It would be so fantastic. Again, imagine playing Mario Maker anywhere and use the, touch. But I don't remember, I don't think the Switch has touchscreen. So maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't work. But maybe like Woolly World or Mario 3D World or 2D. I mean, so many good Wii U games that could be played on the Switch because it is more powerful. And play it handheld would be great. Like, imagine Smash. Like Super Smash Bros. Deluxe. That would be great. But it would be great if you could, in some way, prove that you have the older, like, the Wii U games, and you get some kind of discount, and you can download it off the Nintendo Store. Similar to when you bought games on the Wii Store, and then when you got the Wii U, you could transfer your Wii Virtual Console games to your Wii U for a very, high discount. And I did that with, like, Mario Party 2. And I imagine if you can do that with Wii U games, it would be very cool, but I don't know, it probably won't happen. Instead, we will get these deluxe re-releases, like Mario Kart Pokken Tournament, Smash Deluxe maybe. Most likely that's what we're gonna get, and you have to pay for it again. So it's good for newcomers who didn't have the Wii U, and from what I see, not many people have the Wii U. So a lot of people missed out on these great games. I mean, Mario Kart 8 is the best in the series, and it's wonderful. So it's great for people who never played it, so they can buy it now for the Switch. But for people like me, who had the Wii U, or still do, and I have the Pro Controller, I have like 14 games and I have all the DLCs for Mario Kart. I have all the DLCs for, Smash. So the reason why I don't have the Switch, I don't have it, is because I am, content with the Wii U. I'm glad with how it works, the games I have on it, the Pro Controller, all the DLCs. I don't find it necessary for me just yet to get the Switch, because I only want to play Breath of the Wild, maybe Splatoon 2, but I'm not a big fan of those types of games, maybe. I don't know, I haven't tried it really. But it's not enough for me to put out, $60 or whatever. Or 60 euros. And Mario Odyssey, it's like only those two games. And if Pikmin 4 comes out and Metro Prime 4, then I have enough games for me to justify a Switch buy. But as of now, I don't, because I don't have income at all, kind of. And I have the Wii U, and I'm pleased with it. And I also recently upgraded my computer with a GTX 1080, and so I'm playing a lot of, games on Steam in 4K on a big smart TV. So the Switch isn't a must-buy for me just yet, and I have played Breath of the Wild for like 24 hours in total when I was down at my big brother's place when it came out. So I played Breath of the Wild a lot and looked at it, and it's amazing. And I'm gonna play Mario Odyssey as well. When it comes out, I'm gonna go down to South Sweden where my brother lives, and we're gonna play it together. So I'm still gonna experience the games, but I am not gonna buy it for myself yet. When I do have income and more exclusive big titles come for it, then I will most likely. Now, let's talk a little bit about the online subscription. So the Wii U didn't have a internet service when you pay for it, like you do on Xbox Gold or PlayStation Plus. Wii U was just, you have internet, you can use it how much you want, you can play online for free. Even though it wasn't that great, it's still for free, it's just there for you to, utilize. And, but this is the first time Nintendo has ever come out with, a subscription. For now it's free, but next year it's gonna be a subscription where you pay like, I don't know how much it is. I think it's like €5 or something a month. I might be totally wrong here. But you get so much. You get virtual console games that you can play online. That's really great. And you can play online, on all your Switch games, and the servers will most likely be a lot better. And maybe get discounts in the eShop. I don't know, but it sounds very cheap to subscribe, and you get so much. You get all these free games, all the virtual consoles that you can play online. It sounds really good, and if I ever get a Switch, I will definitely be paying that subscription. So that's great. I'm looking forward to a lot of virtual console games for the Switch. Like being able to play Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, NES, or even GameCube games on the go. It's just wow. And from what I've heard, they have confirmed that GameCube games will be available in the virtual console. So imagine playing Metro Prime 1 and 2 and Super Mario Sunshine. All these fantastic GameCube games that you can play on the go. It just sounds amazing, and there is nothing stopping Nintendo from doing it, because, playing GameCube games isn't very demanding, and the Switch is pretty good for what it is, a handheld console. So no doubt it will be able to play the GameCube games. So I'm looking forward to see that and what they will put out. Now, I talked a little bit about when it's docked, so I'm gonna say a little bit more about that. I think the Switch in docked mode is, it's good for some games, like Mario Kart 8 runs at 1080p 60 FPS solid from what I've seen, and it just plays amazingly. And from that little hardware, that's an amazing feat. And if every single game was as optimized as that game, that would be great. It would be freaking wonderful. Unfortunately, that's not how reality is. It's some games run horribly on the Switch. For example, a new game that came out, Overcooked, runs like in 18 FPS, 20. It's awful. And Breath of the Wild, being the best graphical game they ever produced, I think, is only in 900p 30 FPS. So you have limitations, but some games, such as Mario Kart, is just wonderful, and it's, in my eyes, perfectly optimized. Even when you're playing 2 players, it's 1080p, 60 FPS. Maybe it's like 900p when you're 2 player. I don't know the specs, but it looks and plays wonderfully. So that's great. And when you're going handheld, you're going down to 720, which is like a pixel perfect match for the display. So it looks wonderful. Speaking about the display, I heard that it is in IPS, although I might be wrong here, but it seems to be IPS. And that, from what I know, adds a little bit to the input delay, like 10 milliseconds instead of like 2 or 1 milliseconds. I don't know the specs entirely, but I do know that IPS tends to like have a bigger input lag. And when we're talking about Nintendo, we're talking about these tight controls. We don't want any input lag. But from what I felt, it feels nice. The display looks great. It's 720p, so it's okay. It's good. And now we're gonna compare the Switch a little bit to the other consoles in this generation, namely Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So both of these consoles have these different versions. We have the original PlayStation 4, and then we have the PS4 Slim, and then we have the PS4 Pro. Maybe we're gonna see something else later on, now when Xbox have their third version on the way. So they first had the original Xbox One, and then the Xbox One S, the Slim version. And now they're gonna come out with the Xbox One X, which is basically a PS4 Pro. It's just stronger, 4K, whatever. So they have 3 versions, both of them, starting this November, I think. And Nintendo has never really done that. The Wii had like the GameCube compatibility, and then there was like a later release with no GameCube. But the Wii U was the same all throughout, I believe. And the Switch is most likely going to be the same. It's just going to be this console, and they're going to work with that, not release many different versions. Now, when we're comparing PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 and PS3 and PS4 and all these different versions, they have all been the same core concept, right? It's you, the controller, the console, the TV. That's it. And like maybe like some 3D gaming or virtual reality on the PS4 Pro. Yeah, sure, but the core has always been exactly the same. And it's the same for Xbox, like the original Xbox 360, all the versions there, and now the Xbox One and all the versions there. Everything is the same core concept, but like the Xbox had Kinect, and we have these peripherals, so I'm not counting them too much. Just the core consoles themselves have always been the same. And what I mean about that is when, like, the difference between GameCube and Wii was ginormous, because now it's motion control. It's like only motion control. It's not a peripheral, it's how the console is. And then Wii U came, it's like you have this gamepad and you can play off the TV. It's completely, different. And the Switch, once again, it's the first real good hybrid console, and it's different once again. So Nintendo is always trying new grounds, trying new things with, their new consoles. It's exciting to see what their new console will be. Also a little bit frightening, but it's interesting for me. Because it's so different. Like the new Xbox coming out, or the latest PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, I'm not, surprised anymore. It's just better graphics, better hardware, but the same core concept. And they're focusing so much on graphics. Nintendo are really focusing on gameplay. They always put gameplay before. 60 FPS means a lot to them. Not counting Breath of the Wild, of course, because it wouldn't be possible since it's so big and beautiful. But everything else, it's 60 FPS. It doesn't have the highest resolution or anti-aliasing or graphics settings and all that, because they value gameplay much more, and I love Nintendo for that. I really do. Though, let's talk about some negative things, or let's just talk about the price. So the price for the Nintendo Switch is kind of high. I don't know if it's okay. Here in Sweden, like in USA and other parts of the world, it's like $300 or something. And that's okay. It is okay, but here in Sweden we have this new law that we have to pay 40 additional euros or $50 extra for every console because of stupid rules and shit. So the Switch here costs around 350 bucks or 340 euros. It's pretty damn expensive. And everything else that comes, like all this, what is it? Things for the Switch, like the Pro Controller, these optional things, the AC adapter that you can charge your Switch without docking it, and the handheld bag, and like all these things that you can buy extra for the Switch are very pricey. The Pro Controller is like 80 euros. The AC adapter is like, I don't even know, it's like 400 or something. And the bag is also like, 40 euros. The bag is also like 40 euros. It's really expensive. Nintendo is really pushing the full price. Like, Breath of the Wild still costs full price, 60 euros. The Switch is still, like, expensive. It's expensive, it is. And I guess I'm kind of used to, like, Steam. Like, all these discounts, it's very cheap to game on Steam. But not only PC and Steam, also, like, the Xbox One S had a price point of 150 euros at some point, which included, like, 500 gigabytes and Minecraft. All of this for 150 euros. It's insane. Really good price. And the Switch is like more than double that, because you need to pay for games and shit, and maybe you want the Pro Controller because it's amazing, and it really is. Man, this video was a lot longer than I expected. But that's just how I am. I'm just accepting who I am. I am a guy who tends to derail a lot and just talk. The footage I have for this video, Mario Maker, it's only like 20 minutes at max, like 19 minutes, and I thought I would never reach that, but I have gone so much over that. We're about 28 minutes now, or it's insane, and I don't even know what to say. English isn't my native language, so I can't express myself entirely what I'm thinking here. But I just find myself kind of silly, and I tend to talk too much. But hey, that's okay, maybe. Okay, so we don't have many points left in my document here. The next one is media player. So the Switch, as of now, does not have a media player whatsoever. It has USB imports, but you can't like put in a USB stick and watch MP4 files or things like that. You can't listen to music with it. You can't import music on the Switch. You can't use it as a media player at all. Which is kind of sad as of now, because why not? It can't be hard to program. And it would be cool if you could like import MP3s or something and then have them being played while you're playing like Zelda. Because me and my brother agree that Breath of the Wild doesn't have the best music. Compared to some other classic Zelda titles, it has very poor music. That's my biggest problem with the new Zelda game. Some people say it works because it's like the Breath of the Wild. It's supposed to be silent and like not so much heroic musical themes all over the place. I can agree with that, but not all the time. It tends to get a little bit boring in the end, in my opinion, being a big Zelda fan. So when we played Breath of the Wild, we put on some Ocarina of Time music, and it's like, holy shit, this is so good. Putting out, play Hyrule Field. Or maybe Lake Hylia, Sora's Domain. When you are at Sora's Domain in Breath of the Wild, it's like, holy shit, it's so much beautiful. Of course it's nostalgia, I can't disagree with that, but... So my point is, it would be cool if you could play your own music with the Switch internally, not having to do it externally. And maybe play some video files, maybe import some Adventure Time or something on the Switch and you can watch it on the go. That would be great, right? At least I think so. I hope they do some kind of media player, but most likely not. And my second to last point here is that I didn't get it because of the Wii U. So I already talked about this, but yeah, I didn't buy the Switch because I have the Wii U and all these games and all the DLCs and the Pro Controller, so I don't feel like I have to buy it. If I didn't have the Wii U, like my brother, if I didn't have anything at all, I would buy the Switch, no doubt, and play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe there. But I have already played Mario Kart 8 a lot on my Wii U, and I still do at these Tuesday nerd meetings. So, I don't have a reason to buy it just yet. And I've already played Breath of the Wild a lot. I'm trying to get it to work on emulator. I put up a video on that on my Crimson Crab channel, so check it out. Trying to get the game working in 4K 30 FPS, and it's promising. It's not playable, but it looks potentially very good. So I'm waiting for emulators to be, more stable, and then I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild in 4K, because I'm a 4K gamer and fuck me. Okay, so my last point here on this document is Nintendo going third party. So how would that work out? That's an interesting topic. I've heard people on like Kotaku, like these blog sites, talking about this. What would happen if Nintendo released their games outside their own consoles? It would increase the sales tenfold, I think. Like, insanely much. If you released Breath of the Wild on Steam when it came out, it would have been sold extremely much. Being able to mod the game, being able to change the difficulty and all these things, play it in 4K, maybe 60 FPS, and playing it with controller or mouse and keyboard, I don't know. Having all this freedom, it would sell so much, but it already has, right? Breath of the Wild sold the Switch really well, and the sales numbers are really high. So I don't know where my stand is on this. I would love Nintendo to, release their games on Steam and other platforms, but also at the same time not, because I am a Nintendo fan. I've been it my entire life. And I've always liked that Nintendo has their own world, like these are their consoles and you can only play their games officially there. I mean, emulators work, they're fine. I play GameCube games in 4K 60, sometimes it's wonderful, but nothing kind of beats playing on their original hardware, like on the Super Nintendo or N64. It's wonderful and it has that special feeling, so I don't know where my stand is on this, but it would be great to being able to play Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey officially in 4K 60 with mods and everything. It would grow so much, and I think it would help Nintendo, because their hardware is kind of holding their games back, in my opinion. Before, they didn't do that. The Super Nintendo was on par with everything else. It looked beautiful. And Nintendo 64, the same thing there. It looked beautiful compared to everything else. The GameCube, same thing there. It looked beautiful compared to everything else, once again. The only games I can think of that look better is PlayStation 2 with Shadow of the Colossus. That's a masterpiece, and it looks better than most games on the GameCube. Maybe, maybe not, it depends on your taste and how much color there is in the game. But still, GameCube was still up there. It was 480p or I, just like all the other consoles of that generation. But then Nintendo dropped it for me. With the Wii, was still 480p, while all the other consoles went into HD. And the Wii U got in there, but a little bit too late, but it's still okay. All these consoles like PS4 and Xbox One are going 4K gaming, even though they can't really manage it, but they're trying so hard. But Nintendo is staying there on 1080p or 900p. And me as a PC gamer, as well as a Nintendo and console gamer, I'm an overall gamer. But I'm also a PC gamer. I play both mouse and keyboard, Overwatch competitively, games like that. And I also play Steam games on my smart TV using my computer and an Xbox One controller. So I am a gamer overall on all different platforms, and I appreciate them all. I also have a PS4 and I like it very much. Now when I have this expensive PC and I play so much 4K and all these highest graphic settings, it you notice that Nintendo isn't on par with the graphics anymore as they were back then. But hey, that's the path they choose. It's going great for them. Nintendo is making so much money, especially now when Mario Odyssey is coming out. It's insane. They are in a very good spot, and I wish they could like continue a little bit more with graphics, but that's not the main point. The gameplay is there, and it's wonderful. So I think that's all I have to say for the Nintendo Switch or Nintendo overall. As of now, thank you. I mean, it's shit. I don't find the words here, but thank you so much for watching or listening to this video. I blab on too much and my English isn't that great. And I don't think many people would watch or listen to this entire video, but if you did, I am beyond thankful. And please let me know your thoughts in the description. So, thank you once again. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you on different videos of the sort, streams and whatever. Take care, and have a good day.